We are recording. We're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and go live here on Facebook. So those of you who are watching the replay on Facebook or YouTube, hello and welcome to our Fix Blood Sugar webinar. This is our weekly webinar on Tuesdays noon Central Time. And we always bring in the Dr. Saunders to answer questions.
Now it's a title, the Dr. Saunders. Like I've got a title.
It's a new one. To answer questions concerning type 2. And so we're really excited. We try to mix it up each week with different topics that we are getting a lot of questions about from our customers and Dr. Saunders patients. And so those are where our titles or our topics come from. We also like to review a lot of things about type 2 because we get lots of new people joining. And one of the best parts about these webinars is that you can ask Dr. Saunders questions live, and that has been the most beneficial part. So if you have questions, go ahead and start typing those in. Also, if you know of anybody who might really benefit from this webinar, please share this with them. I am going to post it here on Facebook, so if you go to Barton Publishing, you'll be able to see this live, and then share it with a friend because that'll give them some information about how to sign up. Okay, I'm Leslie Prins. We are usually joined by Joe Barton. He's not here today. I believe he's celebrating his anniversary still with his wife, so I'm excited for them. Let me go ahead and share this. Let's see, Dr. Saunders, if you want to share anything, that'd be wonderful.
How many years is it? How many years have they been married?
Man, I think I saw 24, 23. I don't know. I should go look. I'll have to go. I saw it on Facebook, so I'll have to look. And I got distracted now, so I can't remember where I'm posting this.
Sorry.
That's what happens, guys. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm figuring it out. So say hello, guys, when you hop on. And one of the things I love to do is find out where you guys are tuning in from. I'm always curious how far we're reaching in the world. So you can type that
kind
in
of
the
amazing.
comments. I know.
People from Europe and Canada. That's kind of cool.
It is. Maybe let us know what time it is there too. That's even more amazing. Sometimes people are up in the middle of the night watching. All right. We're almost live on Facebook, guys. 1 second.
Arizona.
Nice.
Smoky, guys, California. You're right. It is smoky lately.
Yes.
Yeah, even like Santa Barbara, we didn't have any fires in Santa Barbara, but we had fires like, they were far away. They were like 100 miles away, but the whole place was just full with smoke. It was, people's asthma was acting up and issues. Breathing, coughing and breathing problems from all the smoke in California.
Yeah, and then I suppose people get worried and think that they have COVID-19.
Yeah. We had terrible burns too. It was like some of the old growth forests. I spent some time. Well, I was in Boy Scouts, and so we went to Big Basin, which is there's some of the oldest redwood trees are there. The whole place burned down, and I think the redwood trees, they survived the fires mostly. They've been through a lot of fires, but still, it's wow.
Okay, we are good to go on Facebook, you guys. Hello and welcome, those of you joining us there as well. Today we're going to be talking about type 2. I should probably give a little intro here on, first of all, a disclaimer, and I'll let Dr. Saunders actually do that disclaimer for you.
Okay. What I give is general information. I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm talking about a disease or a problem or an issue. And whether that issue applies to you or not has to be individually and independently applied. And that's why you're working with a doctor. Your doctor can do tests on you and say, no, that's not your issue. You don't do it that way, you do it this way. Or what is your issue? So your independent application depends on your relationship with your doctor. What I'm giving is general information. You can actually take it to your doctor and go, well, okay, I learned this. Does this apply to me? And then do some tests and find out. And that works. That might work well.
Okay. Awesome.
Is that a disclaimer that I just did? Is that called a
I think
disclaimer?
so. No, that was
Actually,
good.
it's just wisdom.
I think it it encourages us to take control of our health, right?
Yeah. I just
Okay.
call it wisdom.
Yes, wisdom. There we go. Okay. Yay, we're on. We're getting people both on Zoom and on Facebook. Awesome. So some of you are catching the replay. Comment anyway on the replay. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you're on Facebook, let us know as well. We're super excited to talk about type 2 and take your questions live. So if you have questions, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and post those in the comments. Or if you were on Zoom, those who are on Zoom have registered in advance for this webinar. And so you can do that if you haven't already at bartonwebinar.com. And I will post it in the comments here in just a minute when I'm able to multitask a little better. And if you go to that, you can see some of our past webinars. We have been doing this for, I think we decided maybe over a year already. Every week, talking about type 2, taking questions. All of these are on YouTube. You'll see a link to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe because you'll get a notification every time that we upload a new video, okay? And we have had so many messages from people who are so excited that this is something that we're offering for free. And so we would love to have you guys share that as well. Go back, watch, learn. We want to get as many people healthy as possible. So again, that is bartonwebinar.com. You'll find all of the information about all of the things that we're doing there. But for now, let's let Dr. Saunders take it away with our discussion on type 2 diabetes.
Okay, so what we wanted to do today is discuss the basics of what type 2 is, why I got it, and what do I do about it. Type 2 is not type 1, and this is a really important concept that everybody must understand. That we use the word diabetes, but we mean two different illnesses. In fact, two opposite illnesses. These are not like similar, they're actually very opposite, and I'm going to explain why that is. Type 1 diabetes is when the pancreas doesn't work. The pancreas quits making insulin. So if there's no insulin, then you can't get sugar and some proteins into your cells. And if you can't get the sugar into your cells, you don't have any energy in your cells. So people with type 1 diabetes, they can't make fat, they can't make muscles, they use muscles for energy because they can only use protein for energy. And they use some fat for energy, but they can't hold on to it, they can't keep it. So what happens is they get skinnier and skinnier, they waste away till they die of starvation. Type 1 diabetes, that's what you die of, starvation. So until the 1920s when insulin was discovered, that's what people with type 1 diabetes died from. And the majority of people with diabetes, that was what they had, was type 1 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes was known as far back as Babylon. They have some old records of doctors writing in cuneiform in Babylon describing this frequent urination in people who overindulge, which is the opposite form of diabetes. So we can tell that they did know many years ago about both types of diabetes. But type 1 is an issue of not enough. You don't have enough energy. You're dying of starvation. You can't get energy into your cells. You can't hold on to fat. You can't hold on to anything. So you have to eat really frequently. And now we can inject insulin, and that will bring up the blood levels of insulin and allow sugar to get into your cells. And now I've got energy. So that's why it is essential that if you have type 1 diabetes and your pancreas isn't producing insulin, you need injections. I've had people ask me, well, you say you can reverse diabetes. I want to get off these insulin injections. Well, you know what? When we figure out a little more about why the pancreas quits making insulin, sometimes it's an autoimmune problem, sometimes it's a nervous system problem, and sometimes it's other problems, toxins. They found titanium dioxide actually seems to be related to a toxin in the pancreas too. So there are probably many reasons why somebody might have type 1 diabetes, but the issue is if your pancreas is not making insulin, you need shots. That's why. Okay? That's because you can't get energy into your cells unless you get that. So now type 2, what is that? Well, and why do we call it the same thing? Why do we use diabetes for both of them? Well, diabetes means peeing too much. You're making too much urine. That's what it is. And so in the old days, there were 2 different types of diabetes. One was diabetes mellitus, which means sweet. Melatus comes from the word for honey, which means sweet. And the other was diabetes insipidus. Insipid is bland. So the doctor would have to dip his finger in the urine, taste the urine and go, that's sweet. You have diabetes mellitus. No, it's bland. You have diabetes insipidus. Because diabetes insipidus, you pee too much because your pituitary gland isn't functioning properly and you just make a bunch of urine all the time. So they're completely different illnesses, even though they have the same word, diabetes. So then what enter type 2 diabetes, what does that mean? Well, they pee too much too. They're just peeing too much. But the reason they're peeing is different than diabetes type 1. Type 2 is the blood sugar's going up because the cells get full of sugar. They're completely impacted with sugar and they block all the insulin saying, whoa, we are so full of sugar. We don't want any more sugar coming into the cell at all. So they block it from the inside. So what happens? You eat, but it doesn't go into your cells and the blood sugar goes up and that makes you pee a whole lot. So you have 3 completely different illnesses with the same name. And that's been a big problem because if you think about it, if the insulin is being blocked from the inside, you're insulin resistant. And if you're insulin resistant, then adding more insulin just makes you pound more sugar into those already bloated cells. And those cells are going to rupture and die, and you get something like fatty liver disease. And fatty liver disease is from the death of the cells in your liver because they're just over bloated with sugar, something we call glycogen. So when we look at type 1 diabetes and we're saying, well, we don't have enough, we need more, type 2 diabetes is exactly the opposite. You have too much. The way you got the diabetes was too much. The cells are too full. And so when doctors think diabetes and they're thinking, well, diabetes, your sugar's high, therefore we want to bring the sugar down, therefore we want to give insulin to everybody. But that just causes more disease. It causes more damage to your cells, more damage to your liver cells, brain cells, heart cells, kidney cells, and nerve cells, so that you end up with neuropathy in your feet and death of your kidneys. So you have to go on dialysis. Amputations of your legs and blindness. And this is all happening because you're getting more insulin. You do not need more insulin for type 2 diabetes. It's the opposite. Type 2 diabetes, you need less, and especially less sugar. It's all about you've had too much for too long and the cells are all bloated. You're not using it very much. If you were a marathon runner, you could live on 5,000 calories a day and do well. But living on 5,000 calories a day when you're sitting around watching TV does not work. That just creates type 2 diabetes. So what do you have to do? Number 1, I've already mentioned it, exercise. Start using energy.
Oh, did we lose him or is it just me? Can you guys still see him? Oh, I think
is that you cannot lose weight by exercising.
Oh,
To
I think we lost you for a little bit there.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
You said we need to exercise. Yep, we did lose you. So you said we need to exercise, okay. And that's where we lost you.
Okay, good. Because having said that, exercise is really, really important for using sugar. But I want to emphasize you cannot lose weight. You cannot lose fat by exercising. Now, many myths have been purported about this, about how you can go out and do a little running on your treadmill, or do your spinning every day, and you're going to lose weight by doing that. That's not true. There's no truth in that at all. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. In order to lose 1 pound of fat, the average person would have to run 1 marathon. So if you want to lose a pound of fat a day, all you have to do is run a marathon every day, and you will lose a pound of fat as long as you don't eat. Okay, so if you stop eating and run a marathon, then you can lose weight by exercise. There's no other way. So how long does it take you to put on 1 pound of fat? Not very long.
I was like, I don't want to
really
answer. I don't know.
Easy to put on. If you have miles a day to lose a pound of fat,
Did we lose him again? It froze him on a really good smile. All right, I think we lost you, Dr. Scott. In the meantime, while we're waiting for him to come back, keep those questions coming that you have for him. We're going to continue this discussion, but we will also get to your questions. So type those, if you're on Zoom, type those in the chat, or you can type those in the Q&A, and we will get to those as soon as we can. You can also head over, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and ask them there. While we're waiting for him too, I want to go through and just see where you guys are tuning in from. Oh, maybe he's back. And I think he's gone. Okay. So again, let us know where you're tuning in from. We have people both on Facebook and on Zoom. So we have Tacoma, Washington. Patrick is back. Teresa is here from Arizona. Let's see. Grace is here. Hello from Smoky, California. Oh, I think we read that one. A blood orange moon last night. Ooh, wow. Okay. Sir Charles is back. We have Robert is back. Oh, Robert from Oregon. Maybe, I'm not sure if you've been here before. Okay, we have someone from Tennessee. Oh no, Teresa has a terrible dry cough. Oh, I'm so sorry. Krish is back. Yes. Okay, we have good questions from Krish, so we will get to those. Let's see, where else? Again, you guys, if you want more information about these webinars or any of the products that we have, go to bartonwebinar.com. Again, you will find a link to all of our past webinars there, a direct link to YouTube. You'll find products that help with type 2 diabetes that we discuss on these webinars, as well as our diabetes solution kit. So that is the program that Dr. Saunders has put together and uses and has used for thousands of patients. And we have a link there for that. We also created a group on Facebook that you might want to join. It's called the 610 Reset, where we talk about the benefits of stopping eating after 10 and being in bed, or excuse me, stopping eating after 6 and then being in bed by 10, which some people think is crazy, right? But it's very beneficial, and Dr. Saunders talks about why that is. So you can join that group. There's a link to that on bartonwebinar.com as well. So any other things that I missed in here? We do have a lot of questions. I'm going to wait for Dr. Saunders to answer those. And if he doesn't come back, might have to get to some of those next week. So let me see. I'm going to go to the questions here and make sure, is the solution kit updated? Okay, great question. So for those of you who don't know, who have ordered the diabetes solution kit, we actually made quite a few revisions to a lot of the recipes and the food portion. And we are very excited about those because we just kind of found some tweaks and things that we wanted to make better. You know, with new information, we want to update things. So really, really good recipes that we worked on. We put together a grocery list, new recipes, and then also a 7-day meal plan that includes a grocery list as well. So really excited about those. If you previously purchased the diabetes solution kit, you will get an email with this information. I checked in on that last week. They said it is all ready. They were waiting for one approval or something from someone. So it will be any day. Okay. I'll probably post about that in the 610 group also when I get that information when I know that it's done. So that way it's just a reminder for you guys to check your emails, okay? Because that'll tell you how to get the updates, the updated versions right away. Okay. Well, guys, I don't think Dr. Saunders is going to make it back, which is a bummer. So we might have to go extra long next week. I don't know. Feel free to keep asking your questions here, though, for the next couple of minutes. We'll wait just a little bit and just kind of see see if he hops on, because I'll save the questions and we can do those right away next week, too. Okay. Oh, he's back. We knew it. If you just wait long enough, he comes back. He always comes back. I thought I was going to have to show him my dog.
He's like
Okay. He's back. All right, let's go back to exercise. You also just told us that if we want to lose a pound of fat, we have to run a marathon every day and not eat, which, I feel like that probably isn't going to be an option.
Yeah. Well, that's only to lose 1 pound of fat. If you want to lose more fat, you have to run more. So the idea that you're going to lose fat by exercising is kind of ridiculous. And yet it's a myth that persists in our society incessantly. People go, yeah, I'm fat because I haven't been able to work out. No, you're fat because you eat too much. That's it. There's no other reason. People come into my office every day and say, oh yeah, I haven't been able to work out. That's because of COVID-19. I haven't been able to go to the gym. No, that's not it. It's always food. Fat is food, and it gets onto your body because you eat food. If you didn't eat food, you couldn't have any fat. It's all about food. So I want to make that really clear, that exercise is very important, but you're not going to lose weight by exercising. So type 2 diabetes is where your cells are all bloated with too much sugar. And what would be the purpose of adding more insulin to push more sugar into those bloated cells? That would be a horrible thing to do. But that's exactly what we've been taught in medical school, because we use the same word, diabetes. So that must mean it's the same thing. Sugar diabetes, they kind of overlap. There must be the same thing. They are not. They're completely opposite. So while type 1 diabetes, you need more. You need to eat, you need to get your insulin, you need to inject insulin and take care of yourself that way. With type 2 diabetes, it's exactly the opposite. You need less. In fact, 0 is even better. Less is more in the case of type 2 diabetes. Less is more, and the less you have, the better it works. So this way of looking at things is completely opposite from what we're taught in medical school. The doctors are still taught that they need more sugar, that you can eat as much sugar as you want as long as you just get more insulin to keep your blood sugar down. And that's what they're still taught. It's completely wrong. It's not a true concept or principle. The true principle is you have bloated cells, you have big fat cells, that's type 2 diabetes. They've blocked the insulin, so you can't get more sugar into the cells. The cells in your body, if you have 50% of them are over bloated and blocking insulin, then you might have a little rise in blood sugar. If you have 80%, then you'll have a bigger rise in blood sugar. If you have 100% of those are blocked, then you're going to have a huge rise in blood sugar. Everything you eat is going to be in your blood all the time because nothing's going to be able to get into your cells, just like type 1 diabetes. So that's how we work with the diabetes reversal plan. Diabetes Solution Kit tells you on step 1, phase 1, how to get that bloating down by getting rid of all the sugars. Take the sugar out of your diet. Take it out. And when you take the sugar out of your diet, then you can start getting the blood sugar lower. And when the blood sugar goes lower, you can start getting sensitive to insulin again. And that's what allows you start getting normal blood sugars again. So you keep doing that. It's essentially a ketogenic diet. It's 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. And if you want to know what 20 grams of carbohydrates is, a medium-sized apple is about 25 grams. You can't eat one. And that's for your whole day. So one slice of bread is over 20 grams. You can't even have one of those. But that would be for your whole day. That would be all you can eat in the whole day. So, when you look at net carbs, why net carbs? Because fiber is carbohydrate, but we don't digest it, we don't absorb it, it doesn't raise blood sugar, it doesn't increase insulin. So that's not important. Fiber is not important. So if you're looking at a label, you probably shouldn't eat anything that has a label. But if it has a label and you can say total carbs and then fiber, and you subtract the fiber from the total carbs, that'll tell you about what your net carbs are. And so that gives you an idea of where, of how much you can eat. It's not a lot, it's a little bit, but it's that way on purpose. Remember, you have too much, you're overloaded. At some point, you got to reduce the load, and that's what you're doing, reducing the load. So, you're muted.
I'm muted. And we had a question too, asking about the new recipes and stuff that we put together. And one thing I want to mention is when we planned a 7-day meal plan for you, which is a brand new update to our diabetes solution kit. So again, those of you who have previously purchased this, you're going to get this update. Those of you who have never purchased this, be excited about this. And this is a good time to get it because the 7-day meal plan, we've already mapped it out for you to kind of give you an idea of here, this is what I can have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it still keeps you under 20 grams of carbs for the day. You're eating good food. So when he scares you and says, you can't have a piece of bread, it's okay. You're still able to eat really good meals. It's not going to be, here's your beef stick for breakfast. Here's your hard-boiled egg for lunch. And no, you're going to eat real food. It's going to be hearty and nourishing. So don't worry.
And remember all the carbohydrates you eat that don't turn into sugar in your body are great. So if you're eating broccoli and lettuce and having salads and cauliflower and celery and spinach and it's not that you can't eat anything. It's that there are certain things that you're not going to eat. And it's not that you can't have carbs. It's you're not going to have sugar carbs. That you're going to be able to eat a whole bunch of carbohydrates that are good and good tasting. And gosh, one of my recipes I put in there is my favorite ceviche. I love Mexican food. I had a patient who she was really overweight. She had type 2 diabetes, and I was explaining to her what I was just explaining to you, how she's overloaded. She's got to reduce all of that down and get her cells shrunk down so that they can actually bring in sugar again and start using it normally. And I said, so you're going to avoid carbohydrates and no more tortillas. She was Mexican, no more tortillas. And your beans are, you're going to be limited on beans. And I told her all that. In the middle of it, she just broke down, just sobbing, bawling, tears running down her cheeks, just crying. And I said, what's wrong? Because I thought she was in pain or something. She goes, I'm never going to lose weight. And I'm like, why not? She says, because Mexican food is so good.
I agree.
I agree too. But you have to be careful and choose things. So, you can do something like carnitas or mole or ceviche. There are things you can choose that aren't really high in carbs that are still really good. So I told her that, and she calmed down, and she actually did it. She reversed her diabetes.
Awesome.
So
we like to even do fajitas, without the actual tortilla. You're just eating the meat and the vegetables. Put a little salsa on it. If you're doing dairy, some sour cream. So good. It's so good.
Yeah, I do that
lots
too.
of options.
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
Okay, so in the end, what you have with type 2 diabetes, remember, it's the opposite of type 1. Type 1 is you don't have enough. Type 2, you have too much. So you have to get rid of it. So one of the ways that we do that is getting the carbs down to as close to 0 as you can until your blood sugar is consistently in the 70 to 90 range. When it's consistently in that lower range between 70 and 90, or if you're in Canada or Europe, the 4 to 5 range, that gives that is an indicator that your cells are opening up, that they're allowing insulin to attach, that they're allowing sugar back in, because you're using the cells. You're using the energy out of the cells. So that's why exercise is important. As a part of that, you have to use up the energy that's been stored. All that glycogen has to be used up. And then the cells will go, oh, we need more sugar, and open up and allow the insulin to bind so the sugar can get in so that they can have energy and you can start using energy normally.
Oh, that's awesome. That's such a
Isn't that awesome?
It's a good
It's a
visual.
great system.
I feel like we need to draw this up. I need to have some more visual on this. This is good. I've been learning things from Dr. Saunders for, many years, but every time we do these webinars, I learn more. So very thankful.
Yeah, Leslie was there at the original diabetes reversal talk.
I was.
5 years ago or whatever it was.
Yes, I was just a baby, just a young pup. Okay, I think it was actually longer than 5 years ago, maybe 6. No, I don't
remember. All I know is I showed up in South Dakota without a coat.
I know. For those of you who don't know, I'm in southeast South Dakota, and so is Joe Barton, the founder of Barton Publishing. And so, it's usually pretty cold here. But yes, no coat. Welcome to South Dakota. It was not warm. All right. We have lots of questions. So are you ready to tackle some questions? We're ready? All right. Let's do this. Okay, let me scroll back up here. 2 questions from our good friend Krish. We love Krish's questions. They're always really good. Okay, I have 2 questions. One, in regard to diabetes, I had bought Nervala, which contains alpha lipoic acid. My A1C is 6.5. I'm sensitive to some acidic foods and compounds. Is it possible the gut problem, bloating and gas issues that I have could be caused by the alpha lipoic acid?
Okay. When somebody asks the question, is it possible? The answer is always yes. And this is a truth. We know it's a truth because Jesus taught it. He said, all things are possible to him that believeth, right? So, the answer, is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? Not likely. Alpha lipoic acid is an organic acid that, we think of acid as acid, but they're actually way different. And just because they have this organic molecule with a lipoic acid is an organic molecule that is like a fat that has an acid on one end. They call them fatty acids. And so, yes, it's an acid. But this is not the type of thing that would cause the bloating and gas and all of that when you eat. And Krish, if this happens like soon after you eat, then probably what it means is you might have SIBO or SIBO, S-I-B-O, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. And what that means is you have too much bacteria in your small intestine, which is normally sterile. And so those bacteria start digesting. Every time you eat something, they start digesting it and making gas. And that's okay when it's in your colon because you have a way to expel that gas. The average person expels gas from their colon about 14 times a day. So, and cows do it even more. They actually did a lot of studies on that. So it's not likely the alpha lipoic acid, but you might have something else that you might look into why that's happening because there is a reason for that. And he had another question, right?
Yep. Let's see. The second question is in regard to blood pressure. I've been checking my blood pressure every day in the morning and also early in the PM. Help me. Systolic in the morning? Wait.
Systolic or diastolic?
Systolic. Yes. Okay. In the morning is 120 plus. I should have you read this.
So the systolic blood pressure is over 120.
There, I just sent it to you. Okay. And my
Okay, my
diastolic.
second question in regards to blood pressure, I've been checking my blood pressure every day in the AM and also the early PM. My diastolic in the morning, systolic in the morning is 120 plus or minus 2. And my diastolic is 65 to 70. In the PM, my blood pressure readings 138 to 140 and diastolic 68 to 70. Is the variation in blood pressure normal, and the low diastolic pressure is indicative of some other cardiac event during relaxation phase? Thanks. Yeah, he corrected that.
There we go. Sorry, yeah, I missed that.
Okay, so blood pressure. So the widened pulse pressure does mean something. What it means is your arteries are a little bit hardened. So we think of the arteries as tubes, right? It's pipes. It's you have water pressure, and the pressure comes through the pipes, and the pressure at one end of the pipe is the same at this end of the pipe because you can't compress fluids, right? So we look at it as pipe. That's not the way the system works. The blood pressure system is your heart pumps, and when your heart is pumping, the arteries are relaxing. So the heart pumps, and then when your heart is relaxing, the arteries are closing down. So you have this going on all the time. Boom, 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 boom. So what happens when your arteries are stiff and they don't work? Then you have that push it out, and it makes a really high systolic pressure, and it relaxes. There's nothing going on here, so you get a total drop in blood pressure. What the widened pulse pressure means is your arteries are getting hard, or they're not functioning as well. And so, no, it's not a heart problem specifically, but it is an indication of vascular disease. And so you can repair that. And there are really interesting treatments for that. One of them is a counterpulsation, where they put a bodysuit on you, and it's this total bodysuit that's a pressure suit. And it has an EKG connected to your heart. So your heart beats and the suit relaxes, and your heart contracts and the suit relaxes. It lets out the pressure, and then your heart relaxes and the suit gets pressure in it to push against your body and keep the pressure up. So you have the suit doing what the blood vessels normally do, is keeping that going. And that kind of retrains your vascular system to start doing that more. It seems to work. It helps the blood pressure, and it's kind of weird, but it works. It's called counterpulsation, and I don't know. There are a few places where it's done. I don't know anywhere around here in Santa Barbara where it's done. Anyway, yes, Krish, that does mean something, and it means that's something you should work on to get your arteries cleaned out.
Okay, this is good. All right, Sandra, let's see. Hi from Canada. Doing well, but cheated one day this past week. Ordered my
Cheater. Cheaters never prosper.
Here, I love this. Can't tell you how helpful your webinars are for me. You are so welcome, Sandra. Let's see. She also says, does the keto diet increase insulin resistance?
Okay, so essentially, phase 1 of the diabetes solution kit is a ketogenic diet. It's one of them. It's not the only one. There's a whole bunch of different ways of doing it. In fact, I was looking up the other day for one of my patients a vegan ketogenic diet. Imagine that. You can't have any dairy or eggs or meat, no cheese. So this is a vegan ketogenic diet. And sure enough, I found one on the internet. It was decent and it was well done, and the website was good. So I sent it to her. So yes, the ketogenic diet is really good, but it improves insulin resistance. It gets rid of insulin resistance. It lowers your insulin resistance, any kind of ketogenic diet, because it's telling your body to burn fat instead of sugar. Insulin is produced when you're burning sugar or protein, not fat. You don't make insulin for burning fat. You use other things. L-carnitine is one, by the way. I just was doing a lot of research on L-carnitine. And if you want to use fat more in your cells, take extra L-carnitine. Muscle builders, bodybuilders have been doing this for years, and they've known about L-carnitine getting more fat into your muscles, more energy into your muscles, and building more muscle. So that's a good way to, so it doesn't allow you to use muscle for energy. Instead, you use more fat. So that's something to consider.
Okay.
Did I answer the question? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think so. Let us know if that didn't answer your question. Okay. From Robert, what can be done to help macular degeneration?
Macular degeneration. Okay. That is really important. That's blindness, and that's what happens from diabetes. And what's happening in macular degeneration is your macula is the part of your eye that is exquisitely sensitive to light. It is the most concentration of rods and cones that we have so that we can read and focus and do stuff. The rest of our eyes around the outside have very few, well, not very few, but they have much fewer than in the macula, the rods and cones. So macular degeneration causes you to lose the ability to focus. Some people, they can see on the outside, so they can see from their peripheral vision, but it's not really good enough focus to be able to read and do any fine work or anything. Yeah, you can sort of basically see, but it's not a focusing kind of thing. So the macula is really important. And this degeneration is going on because of inflammation. There are various possible reasons for that. There's like wet macular degeneration, dry macular degeneration. The basics, the underlying foundation of the macula is you have to have a ton of antioxidants in the macula in order for it to not have inflammation, because it is using so much energy. This little teeny bit, it's like less than a centimeter or around a centimeter, is using so much energy that it's creating tons of oxygen-free radicals. So they always said, you know, carrots are good for your eyes, right? Why is that? Well, the beta carotene is one of the things that your eyes use, well, for pigment partly, but for decreasing inflammation. A lot of the other colorful things like blueberries, astaxanthins, zeaxanthins, excuse me, they have eye vites, vitamins for your eyes that have vitamin C, zinc, and then this astaxanthin, zeaxanthin, beta carotenes, and other things, and these and lutein. These are really important chemicals that absorb oxygen-free radicals that keep your eyes functioning properly. So having a lot of those is really good. And so again, with supplements, you might take them every day for a period of time, maybe 30 to 90 days. And then after that, take them on a periodic basis, like every other day or something. But almost as important or more important is eat good food, is have a lot of lutein in spaghetti sauce. But you know what? I'm going to give you a hint. I use spaghetti squash instead of the pasta, and it's great spaghetti if you make good sauce. So the sauce, tomato sauces, for example, have a lot of lutein. They're great. I don't use ketchup because it has high fructose corn syrup, so I try to avoid it. But other tomato sauces, I mostly like to cook, so I make them myself. And then astaxanthin, zeaxanthin, those are found in anything of color. So colors, green, yellow, orange, red, purple, berries are great. Even watermelon has the color of watermelon is good for your eyeballs. So that's all why the best way to get to prevent and reverse macular degeneration. The other thing is already in the book, and that is get your blood sugar down. Get your blood sugar back to normal and start using fat for energy. That's the ketogenic diet.
Okay, this is good. Good questions, you guys. Sir Charles, this is interesting because I was having this discussion with someone early this morning. Is it true that if you burn more calories Okay, I gotta reread this. My mouse was in the way. Is it true that if you burn more calories than you consume, you will lose weight?
Okay. The answer to that is yes. Um, um, okay. So, yes. And so that's why consumption is the issue. So if you want to really lose weight, don't consume any calories. It's really that simple. So the single best thing any individual can do for their health in our society, because we're a society of plenty, is fasting. Fasting repairs everything. It fixes everything. It repairs the intestines. It repairs your brain. It makes you sensitive to insulin again. It opens up your cells. It repairs your liver. It gets all the fat out of your liver. Your fatty liver goes away. Your kidneys repair. Your nervous system repairs. What is not repaired while you're fasting? Nothing. That's called anabolic metabolism. So bodybuilders know about anabolic metabolism because they want big muscles, and that requires an anabolic metabolism. So they have these huge websites on how to get anabolic, and they have all these anabolic supplements that you can take, and they inject themselves with anabolic steroids to create the anabolic metabolism. You know what? There's a super simple, easy, safe, effective, and cheap way to do it. Don't eat. That's it. Every time you don't eat, your stomach makes a hormone when it's empty called ghrelin. Ghrelin, G-H-R-E-L-I-N. Growth hormone releasing hormone. This is the single best hormone of your existence. This is what's going to fix everything in your body. When your stomach is empty, then you make ghrelin, you release growth hormone, and all the anabolic hormones you could ever want, and you're going to repair your joints so you never have to have a joint replacement. You're going to repair your brain so you never get Alzheimer's. You're going to repair your kidneys so you never go on dialysis. You're going to repair your heart. It sucks all of the cholesterol out of your arteries and makes your arteries baby soft so that your heart beats with your arteries and your blood pressure goes down to normal and you don't have a wide pulse pressure. Everything good happens when your stomach is empty.
So good.
Sorry, that's my soapbox.
So good. No, it's really good. I was having discussions even on intermittent fasting and those kind of things. So that's where some of this came up. But I love this. Such good information. Okay, let's see. Sir Charles asks, is there any harm in staying with phase 1 a little while longer, even if you've already accomplished phase 1 goals?
No. As a matter of fact, if you stay on a ketogenic type diet, because remember, you have diabetes. That's why you're doing this. And if you go back to eating what you used to eat, then of course you're going to get diabetes back again. That's not going to work. But if you stay on the ketogenic diet and you keep doing that, and you're eating the healthy foods, and you have like your salmon salad and good quality healthy foods, then of course that's really healthy.
Perfect. Sandra's just confirming, is the keto diet safe for type 2 diabetics?
It is the single most safe thing you can do besides fasting. Fasting is the safest thing to do, and ketogenic diet is the second safest thing to do. Now, the thing I hate about the keto diet is the Atkins people, because they get into this. I'm going to have my bacon and cheese and sausage omelet every morning and drink cream, and I'm going to live on fat, and I'm going to eat bacon for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I'm going to drink cream and take spoonfuls of coconut oil. No, guys, that is ridiculous. That is not a ketogenic diet. A real ketogenic diet requires that you eat vegetables. I don't know. People do the carnivore diet. I don't know if I have a problem with that. But you need a variety. You need fruits and vegetables. You need vitamin C. You need nutrients like the astaxanthin and zeaxanthin. He's not doing that fat thing.
we kind of cut out a little bit there. Shoot. Basically,
the ketogenic, as long as you're not doing the fat thing.
okay. Here we go. All right, that's good. All right. Let's see. Let's do one more question from Krish. Krish says, let's see. Yes, so much confusing information on the internet. No new problem. 2 short questions. Which form of zinc is the most effective that is maximally absorbed? That's the first question from him.
Well, you can go into all of these minutiae, but the reality is just get enough zinc. There isn't a lot of zinc in our diets because we don't eat a lot of nuts and seeds as a regular kind of part of our diet. Zinc is found in a lot of different things, but in small amounts, and it's often obscured by other divalent cations like calcium, magnesium. So if you take zinc on a periodic basis, don't take it every day. If you take zinc, then you won't get copper. So the best form of zinc is a chelated form. And chelated means the zinc is bound to an organic molecule called an amino acid. And that amino acid is something that the body goes, oh, I want that amino acid, and brings it in with the zinc. And so that gives you automatic absorption of the zinc, and it won't get obscured by all the other minerals that can compete for absorption with the zinc.
Okay, and what form of selenium, which is bound to yeast in all preparations?
That's what. Okay, so the yeast selenium is fine. That's actually a good form because the yeast need it, we need it, plants don't need it. So plants make a selenomethionine that they just store. They don't need it. But if there's no selenium in the soil, the plants don't care, and they won't make selenomethionine. So you won't have selenium in your plants if you don't have it in the soil. And normally it's not something put into fertilizer, so if it's not in the soil, it's not going to get put in the soil. So you're just going to be selenium deficient. So most Americans are selenium deficient. There are other areas of the world that have high selenium soils, such as on the east coast of Brazil, where they grow Brazil nuts. And then so we take Brazil nuts and go, oh, there's like 50 micrograms of zinc in a single Brazil nut. That's great, and that's a decent way of getting it. But the form, if you take selenomethionine, that's great. But the yeast forms are great too. That's okay.
Okay, and we've had a couple questions from people wondering if they're fasting, when should they take their medications?
Okay. Be careful. Thank you for asking that question, because that's really important. When you're fasting, you have to be very vigilant. You may not need your medications. Remember, while you're fasting, your blood sugar is going to go down to normal. Your blood pressure is going to go down to normal. Your cholesterol is going to go down to normal. You don't want to take these medications while you're fasting. So otherwise, you could go too low on your blood sugar, too low on your blood pressure, and you'll go, oh my gosh, I feel horrible. Fasting is terrible for you because I feel bad. I get a headache. Well, of course, if you're taking your medications and you drop your blood sugar to 40, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel terrible. So that is something that you have to be really careful with. And I usually recommend for my patients when they come in to see me, if they're on medications, blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, any of those chronic medications, they should not take them while they're fasting.
And again, that's something you can discuss with your doctor as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, one more question. Final question.
You keep saying that.
I know, they just keep coming and they're good. What about curcumin? How does this help diabetes?
Okay. Curcumin is an amazing, it's just, turmeric is such an amazing molecule. Every time they look at something, it's like, oh, curcumin helps that. Oh, turmeric helps that. Oh, turmeric helps that. Oh, turmeric, like cystic fibrosis. There was one case of cystic fibrosis that turmeric fixed the gene in it so that they didn't have cystic fibrosis anymore. It like completely reversed the process so that the chloride channels were normal. It's just, this molecule is so amazing. So we look at it as an anti-inflammatory and go, oh, it reduces inflammation. When you have less inflammation, then your blood sugar works better, and you're not making all of the cortisol that causes insulin resistance and all of that. Well, there's actually multiple reasons, but yes, that's part of it. It lowers inflammation, it improves the stress response, but there's even more to it than that. It actually affects the genes where blood sugar is used, and it improves the function of insulin, and improves the ability for mitochondria to make energy from sugar. It's amazing. This molecule is so amazing.
Wow. Great. Okay. You guys, that is it for us today.
Well, can I add some?
I was just going to say, do you want to add anything else?
Okay. One mistake people make is, oh, wow, this is really cool. This is the best thing in the world. I'm gonna take it every single day, and I'm gonna take a ton of it every single day. Look, don't overdo it. Everything is toxic. I had a nutritionist who was working for us. When she was studying nutrition and she found out the nutrition of kale, she said, oh my gosh, kale is the best thing in the world. It has the highest nutrient to calorie ratio of any food in the whole world. Man, you could just live on kale. And she did. She ate kale for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And she started getting toxic. She started getting cramps in her muscles. Because it depleted her minerals. There's oxalic acid in kale, and she got toxic on it and had to cut out kale, and now she can only eat it once a week. You can get toxic on turmeric. You can get toxic on anything. Don't overdo it. Now, so if you go on the BP website and you get the turmeric there, and you want to do it over a long period of time, then take it 5 on, 2 off. Okay? Take 2 days off. Take weekends off or something like that. And that will allow you to remain sensitive to it, where it'll keep working. Otherwise, the ability for it to work gradually declines until you might as well not even take it. Okay?
No, very good. All right, guys. And again, you can go to Barton Webinar. I'm going to post that right here in the chat on Facebook and both Zoom. So that's where you can get all of the information. Wow, this has been a really good webinar. I learned so much. I'm excited. I go back through these and listen again, and then I do a transcription on YouTube. So if you want to go back and find certain things, that usually will be done in a couple days. But it's like I get to re-listen to it again, and I always learn more. So thankful for this. Thankful for all of you guys who are on. Again, share this information with a friend who could really use it, okay? Any last words of wisdom you want to share with us, Dr. Saunders?
I love your glasses.
Aren't they fun? These are my blue light blockers. The bigger, the better. And I don't even live in Texas.
That makes you see better, right?
Yes. All right, you guys. Thanks again. We'll see you back here next week, Tuesday. Bring a friend online. Bye-bye.